Hello, everybody, and welcome along to Talking Siege. We're up to episode 57 tonight, and we're kind of sandwiched between events here. There's quite a lot going on in the Rainbow Six scene, and we've taken the opportunity to chat to the Rainbow Six legend himself, Matt Andrews, who will be joining us on the show later tonight after we go through some other topics that has been pertinent to the scene at the moment. If you're new here, this is Talking Siege. We are a weekly talk show where we discuss Rainbow Six Siege news, whether that's at a game level, new patches, new releases, content. We talk about the esports scene, new matches that are going on, especially in the ANZ region, and of course globally as well. And we also touch on a lot of the community content that has been happening in the community and spotlight a lot of that as well. So if you're new to the channels, then welcome, and if you're listening afterwards on one of our podcasting platforms, I hope you're enjoying the audio. But we do have some video components here for those of you watching the stream tonight. But yeah, we got a couple topics to go through, so may as well just start digging into it. To kick things off, I just want to talk a little bit about Ubisoft Experience. So Ubisoft Experience is a new initiative, a new event, kind of like a convention that's happening in several places around the world from Ubisoft, just to spotlight Ubisoft games and raise money for charity. So in Australia, in Sydney, the Ubisoft Experience will be on the 14th and 15th of September. Tickets are available now, and the schedule was recently released as well, so you can see what kind of action is going on at the event. There's a Rainbow Six room, which of course is where what we're going to be most interested in, where there will be a charity clash tournament with 4 of the Rainbow Six Pro League teams, as well as a lot of matches with influencers, and the opportunity for you to actually play with the pros and influencers if you were there at the event as well. There's all kinds of other stuff happening for all the other titles, so if you're going along, then you're definitely going to get your money's worth. And of course, all that money is going to charity, so it's there's no greater cause that you could be going towards. Anyway, it's not just the dev show. We got Sky and Cthulhu here, and Cthulhu's got a bunch to talk about. So take it away. What have we got happening in the Rainbow Six world, Cthulhu?
So officially wise, there's a few small things currently happening. Well, it depends on how you look at it, really. So we have the technical test server still running, still going, all the fresh content for testing, all the tweaks and everything's coming up. And to me personally, it's been an absolute blast playing it. Really, the new operators feel nice. The canal is just a nice refreshment of the old classic, and there's a couple of really nice Easter eggs as well on the map, which I'll leave to the community to discover, really, because it's a really exciting thing once you actually see it. On the other news, we have also the Rainbow Six being on sale as well. So today is the final day before tomorrow, where you can get the 60% off Siege. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your pets even, and get them on that Siege grind for ranked, or maybe to get those sweet skins and epic frag montages. And last but not least, we have a new Rainbow Six operator set, which is the called Astral Dusk bundle, which is for Mozzie and Gridlock. And might I add, the Mozzie part is extra nice. 10 out of 10 Cthulhu OK hands. And yeah, that's pretty much about all of the news that we have for the official releases for Siege for this week. And I believe we have a couple extra things also to cover, gentlemen.
Yeah, so we're going through a couple of different topics today. Like I said at the start, we've got also talking a lot about esports, so the Six Masters upcoming, and we also have a community section as well later on, where we're going to talk about a lot of community content. Sky, are you interested in taking us through some of that now, maybe?
Yeah, absolutely. So for community content, one thing that I guess I want to highlight this week is mogul.gg, which is a community-based sort of platform, similar to the likes of LPL, Cybergamer, for any of you that remember that. And Mogul has come into the Rainbow Six scene within, say, the last month and a bit. However, they have been providing sort of tournament services for other games for quite a while. So it's awesome to see them bring this addition to the Rainbow Six community. And some of these tournaments, they sort of come in different forms. As you can see, I guess I'll speak specifically on the tournament that Dev is showcasing on screen now. And this tournament is going to be happening this Thursday at 7 p.m. AEST. This tournament is free to enter. You don't have to pay a penny to play, and there is, I believe, $1,200 roughly of Razor gear up for grabs, which is quite an incredible prize. I know myself and Dev have partaken in these tournaments throughout the last 2 weeks, and we've had a blast playing with some other people. It's been a good time for sure. And that's the thing. It's all about having fun. I don't think we've won a single match yet, but
we got a bye. We won the bye.
We won the bye. We've sure as hell looked good doing it. And we're actually lucky enough to have a quote from Jamie Skeller, who is the CSCO of Mogul. And he says, "While Mogul continues to expand globally, I'm proud to already be working with teams, leagues, and game communities in my own backyard. As a former player for Australia's top-ranked CS team more than 15 years ago, it's an honour to now be building and supporting today's Aussie and Kiwi players with market-leading technology that I've helped build." So again, you can see that there really is a true and tested team of veterans behind this platform. And I guess in the spirit of MEO, I know a lot of people are going to MEO and have watched the online league and maybe are going, even pro league and going, I want to compete. Well, I think this is a fantastic way to actually do that and build up that, get a bit of competitive experience. Maybe if ranked and casual aren't quite filling that need, you can give Mogul a go. And I think that this tournament is a great way to do that. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, Cthulhu and Dev.
I honestly... yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've actually seen some of the Six Masters teams competing in the Mogul tournaments, which is a bit scary, not going to lie, because of course we played a couple of Sky, like you said, and we're always checking out what are the teams competing before we start, fingers crossed that we're not going to get one of the difficult ones in our bracket. And I think we've been pretty lucky a few times not getting the Pro League teams. But yeah, there's been quite a few of them really putting their hands up there. So it's been anything from players or teams like ours, which was just a bunch of guys who played casual and ranked together, banding together, and then the full-blown, more serious teams as well, which has been quite a lot of fun.
Yeah, I honestly think that the whole Mogul initiative is actually an amazing thing, and to get people who are probably either never played like the whole overall ESL variant of the competitive play, this is a fantastic start. And with the Pro League teams actually being involved as well in those competitions, it does offer you quite some opportunities to learn maybe some of the plays, or maybe just see if you can get up to par on some of the plays as well.
Absolutely, and there's really no excuse to not be getting into competitive Siege in this day and age. Again, we've got Mogul, we've got EGN, which is another fabulous sort of platform there to help you build up and gain experience within the competitive R6 scene. I'm preluded before to LPL and that sort of thing. That's an awesome way to get experience, and I'll even prelude now to Six Masters 2020, which we'll discuss later in the episode, which just shows the commitment that Ubisoft is making to competitive Siege within the region. So, I mean, all of this exciting news, I think these leagues are fantastic ways to go about, maybe making your way up and even competing in the next iteration of Six Masters.
Yeah, and on that, I haven't played at a very high level before, but I played in lots of different teams over quite a long period of time. And I still remember my first ever scrim, my first ever practice where I played with a competitive team. I was trialing for a team. And I was just talking about this to a mate the other day because my friend said that he was interested in getting into teams and starting to, play more. He said that a lot of the teams out there, they wanted a specific rank. So he was really grinding ranks to try and get to that level. And I remember the first scrim I ever played and how it really changed the way I thought about the game. I remember this one moment where I thought I really need to prove to my teammates that I'm trying to impress so that they'll let me join their team, that I'm good, so I need to get some kills. And so I left my anchor spot on a mirror window and chased someone who I saw outside and died, and I got roasted for that. So I learned a lot about that competitive level of play. It's so different to ranked, and it's really in my opinion, so enjoyable to play in a competitive setting, where you can really use your brain a lot, and your aim a lot as well, for sure. So I definitely recommend it. I don't have there is pretty much nowhere near as much fun I've had playing any video game other than playing Rainbow Six Siege competitively in a competitive environment. That is just the best way that you can possibly play the game, in my opinion.
And it sort of shows you that there are other ways to be rewarded by playing the game. I think one of the most rewarding feelings is when you really cleanly execute on a site, with full 5-man communication. It just works out absolutely perfectly. And sometimes it doesn't, and that's the joy of Siege. You get to go back to the drawing board and try and make it better for next.
Yeah.
So I think if we got a little bit of time, we might move on and do our top picks. Sky, you cool with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, everything's a little bit jumbled this time around, but for our first top pick, we've got the one, the only Mr. Russian Cthulhu with his Goyo. Everything is just fine.
Yeah, so I've found this on Twitter. I can't seem to remember the Twitter handle who posted this, but this is essentially the modification of the OG meme with the fact how Goyo has quite some fiery gadgets. This is quite suitable, really, as to the amount of times that probably he will get set up on fire during the live service once he gets let out. And during the time at TTS, I actually did get killed by my own Goyo shield. So, not gonna lie, this was me.
It's accurate.
This very meme. It's very relatable.
I love how, because I don't know, if for those of you who haven't seen the original meme, this is basically a mirror image of an existing meme, just with all these Rainbow Six little features plugged in. I like how there's the C4 on the desk as well, and the little 6 logo behind. Yeah, I guess that's one interesting thing about Goyo. We didn't touch too much on the new operators and the TTS, but you can obviously go and play the technical test server right now. Play Ember Rise early before it's on the live servers released, and start testing out the operators. And
you can use the R6 fix as well.
Yeah, there you go. You can report any issues that you do find onto R6 fix, and then hopefully they'll get implemented into the live build. So something about people have talked about Goyo being similar to like a Smoke because he's area denial, but Smoke can inhale his own toxic gas, but Goyo can't sit in his fire, contrary to this meme.
I feel that Goyo falls into the similar niche as Mozzie, actually. Because with him being a 2-speed operator, you could, and his gadget being somewhat flexible to a certain extent, you could play him very flexibly. You can have the anchor plays, you could have the roaming plays, really just all in all, and his overall loadout does allow that easily.
Gotta say, my favorite part's easily the Vector. I've dreamed for the day when we get to use the Vector on a not 1 speed, and it's incredible.
Yeah, and for all those ACOG fanatics out there, you can get an ACOG on a 2-speed now with the SCG, is it? SCG-12? TCSG, I missed one of the letters. The TCSG-12, that's shotgun. As Monkey Fist likes to call it, a shotgun. But anyhow, Sky, you want to touch on your top pick? What's got you going this week?
Yeah, so my host pick this week is slightly longer, but that's okay. We've got the K-Pug Showcase. For anyone that isn't aware, K-Pug is a community pug server based within the ANZ region, Australia and New Zealand. And this is just an awesome way to play Rainbow Six. Again, tonight for me, it's all about showing you guys awesome ways to play Siege. We've had Mogul, we've had LPL, we've had EGN. Again, we talked about Six Masters. And this is just another way to spice Siege up and have a bit of fun. So for anyone that doesn't know what a pug server is, it's pretty much a server in which there are you queue up, 10 people get picked, and then you get randomized. So a little bit like if you were to solo queue ranked. This is using ESL rules and ESL maps. It's an awesome way to meet like-minded community members. There's also some cool custom ranks on the Discord. Dev is showcasing Dev is showcasing the Twitter on screen there. And again, I guess I just want to plug that this is an awesome way to train up. Again, I mentioned it before, but Ubisoft really showing a lot of dedication within Rainbow Six in the ANZ scene for the long term. So, I mean, everyone wants to get involved in that action and try and qualify for these awesome tournaments. Again, K-Pug is another pretty awesome way to do this.
Yeah, I love it. I've played it a bit already. And yeah, the admins also are really lovely people. They've been very helpful to me.
Indeed. Well, I think now we may throw to a little break and.
You're gonna skip my host pick, are ya?
Well, we can put that later, Dev. Surely
we could put it later. All right. Let's do that. Let's keep it later because my host pick is about Six Masters, and we can't really talk about Six Masters without Matt Andrews himself. So we are going to go to a quick break. We're going to show some really cool content that Ubisoft has been pushing recently, kicking it off with this Every Life is a Lesson trailer. So don't go anywhere. We're going to be back in a second with Matt Andrews himself.
Never saw it coming. Happened so quickly. One shooter, one bullet. Straight to the head. And this one, I laid down an explosive. Death toll, 1. Me. A rookie mistake. A hidden trap by the window. Always double check before going in. Stupid fools. Stupid fools. Stupid fools. Shooter, lying in ambush. Saw him. Too late. Too late. Too late. Too late. Stabbed in the back. C4 under the floor. And this one, I rushed out. Straight into a claymore. It's good to be bold, not to be greedy. I know all my deaths by heart. Every spawn kill, every headshot, every stupid mistake and miscalculation. But I assure you, I'm not the one who will die today.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Talking Siege. We are here with the one and only Matt Andrews. And Matt, welcome.
I don't know why I went for that.
Dude, you can do whatever you want, man. You're on Australian time now, so do absolutely whatever you want.
It is going to be on Australian time for me soon, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with that, but it'll be fun. I don't know why I went for the hands up. That's a very kind of like, oh, don't shoot me way
surrendering.
Of saying hi.
Look, in Australia, everything is trying to kill you, but you're not in Australia yet, so we'll educate you on that when we get there.
It's like we haven't spent months apart, Dev, because I'm sure that's the last thing you said to me the last time I saw you, and pretty much the only thing you ever said to me all the time in Milan as well. Yes, everything is there to kill me, and I can't wait to die with you all.
The hands up was just a rehearsal.
Yeah, no, I don't think I sold Australia very well last time we spoke. So I did give you Tim Tams, and you weren't that impressed. So we'll see.
Yeah, we're going to get that in now. Okay, yes,
Yeah,
that's true.
okay.
Your biscuits are inadequate. Please improve them before I come. I'm not going to get in now, am I? No. Do I need to bring you biscuits, Deb?
Look, we can make it a tradition, whatever works out for you, Matt. But look, we got a podcast to run around, and I don't want to take any more time out of your day because, look, I know it's your last day in the UK before you come down under, and who knows what's going to happen then. So, got to play it safe, all right? Your last day in the UK. How's your morning been so far?
Whatever. I was hoping to come back, but
We
okay, I
didn't
could
let
also
you.
live in Australia. That would
You
be fine.
heard about the First Fleet, right?
Oh, so it's
Very
true that
subtle.
when we send people to Australia, they don't come back again. This
Exactly.
is getting a historical reference I didn't want to go to. Okay. Yes.
All right, so Matt, let's get into it. How's your morning been so far?
Okay. Yeah, good. It's a bit of a crazy day because I am flying to Australia today, and if you're not going to tell anyone that it's my birthday, then I have to tell people that it's my birthday,
Good.
and it's my birthday. So this is how I celebrate my birthday. I get on planes forever, and rarely spend my birthdays at home.
So I want to get
That's kind
some.
of how it always is year after year. But I'm coming to you guys, and I can't wait. I'm really, really excited about it.
I want to get some happy birthday wishes in chat for Matt here. I wasn't going to bring it up because I know some people are a bit private about it, so I thought I'll let you you take the lead on that one.
I'm just going to turn some more lights on. Hold on.
All right, sounds
That's
good.
it. That's a little bit better, isn't it? That's a little bit. No, private about it. Come on, I work on TV for a living, so you know.
All
None
right.
of us are shy, Dave.
let's talk about your career then, Matt. I think that pretty much everyone who's watching or listening right now on our podcasting platforms will be aware of who you are. But I think for the sake of thoroughness, why don't you tell us, who are you, Matt? Who are you, and what do you do in Rainbow Six Siege?
I'm Matt Andrews. I'm an esports host and caster and TV presenter for other things as well, but I've been a gamer all of my life. And a few years ago, I saw Siege coming before it got released back in 2015. And I always thought it had huge potential. I always thought it was going to be a little bit different. And my esports career was pretty new back then, but just starting to sort of get off the ground a little bit. And reached out, made some connections, actually cast it before it was released. On its worldwide first playthrough here in the UK, where I'm in London right now, and we have a big gaming event every year called EGX. Used to be called Eurogamer Expo. It's now EGX. That's like our Gamescom. It's not as big as Gamescom or as big as a PAX or anything like that, but it's our biggest thing. And I went there and I rocked up and I said, look, I can play games all day, or I can help you out. Excuse me. And I ended up casting Siege. Not all day, just for a little bit of what they were doing. And they had this tremendous setup, which I'd never seen before, and I've rarely seen it really done since. It's such a good idea. You know, if you go to a games expo, you queue for ages, 3 hours and all of those kind of barriers where you just do this with your friends until you eventually get to the front. And you've got nothing to do but sit on the floor and watch people walk by. What they did here in the UK, which is genius, is they had one of these barrier queues that you would queue in to get your hands on Siege. People were queuing for 2 hours to do so. And when you got to the front of the queue, you went and sat down and played it on the next stations that were available, but 10 of them were on a stage. And in between was a screen, and it was 5 versus 5, and those 10 were casted by a few of us guys, and I took a turn at doing one of those. And it wasn't competitive, and no one has ever touched this game. This is on the 27th of September in 2015. This is 3 months before it's released, 2 and a bit months before it's released. So no one's touched it. No one knows anything. So we're not casting a match, and these aren't 2 teams. This is just you and the 4 people who are next to you in the queue against them. So we told you what you could do, and we said you could put your drone up on there or whatever. And this is super early. The game isn't even out. Yeah. And it meant that you spent the 2 hours you were queuing to play it watching it and being told stuff you might try when you get to the front of the line. And then ever since then, I stayed in touch with people at ESL, and I actually got hired to do a totally different job for Formula E. But the guys who were involved in that were also at ESL, were also involved in Siege. So when Pro League Finals 1 came around in May 2016, I was putting myself forward for that. So we did that, and then I've done 13 out of 14 major events, World Championships, Pro League Finals, all of the Pro League Finals. Most of them are stage and Death Coast as well. And I do other things in esports. I do other games and I do other things on TV. But Siege is by far and away the most important one soon.
That's what I like to hear. So
podcast
Matt,
over, right? Thanks, guys.
Wait. We have you for at least a little bit longer.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
So I know we've had a chat before about kind of your origin story, as they say in the gaming narrative world. You have gone through quite a lot of different things in your life that has led you to esports, and I thought it'd be interesting if you would like to share some of that journey with us tonight. What is it that drove you to come into the esports scene as a presenter, get into presenting in the first place, and how did that kind of transfer from where you were in your earlier life?
Yeah, I'm going to be more careful on what I say to you in bars and things, I guess. No, it's fine. I spent most of my life not sure what I wanted to do. This wasn't always going to be my thing. I never thought I'd get on TV. I wasn't always trying to be a presenter. I tried a lot of different stuff, but it was always a little bit related to performing. Well, I have a degree in aeronautical engineering.
As you do.
I thought I was going to be super academic, but my kind of performing side came out. It's been I've done a lot of presenting for years and years and years, but for a lot of my life it was evenings and weekends and part-time gigs and stuff like that. I emceed comedy nights. I performed in comedy nights, and I did pub quizzes, and I did little corporate things. I did tons of stuff like that, boxing matches and stuff, and it was great, and I loved doing it. But it was the other thing I did in my day job. I tried a few different things. I was an event manager for a while. I was a graphic designer and video editor for a while. Tried to be an actor, didn't enjoy it, but I'd always been a presenter, and it was just like, it's one of those things. It was actually right there all along, and I was just like, "What do I need? What should I do? What should I do?" So I decided to pursue presenting because I was made redundant from a day job that I had, and that was terrible at the time. But looking back on it, if that hadn't happened, I've said this many times, I don't know if I'd have left a regular, well-paid, slightly boring day job to, go completely freelance and live this sort of a life. I don't know if I'd have had the nerve to leave a job that I know is there for one that may not be tomorrow. But no regrets, and a lot of networking and a lot of bouncing around. And I've always I went to ones before I did the Siege, the reveal. I went to previous events with some friends who are filmmakers. We walked around, we filmed content. I gave that to people. Some of it got used, made me contacts, and I kind of grew up and got further from there. But it's, I'm entirely freelance. So truthfully, this kind of life is a bit of a scrap. It's, I have things that I know I'm going to get. I have things that I think I'm going to get, and maybe they don't happen. And I'm talking to other people about other jobs, and it's busy. And fortunately, I have quite a lot of good things going on. I'm absolutely thrilled to have, and I will always be grateful for.
That's awesome. Out of all of the Rainbow Six events, which one was the most memorable to you?
Oh, all right. Well, for different reasons, I can tell you. I bet a lot of people say this. Six Invitational 2018, the massive scrap, the comeback from what was Penta, now G2, but back then as Penta against EG. Like, that's unbelievable. And that was back when I was doing Siege events on stage and desk. It was our best of 5 final. I think it was our first best of 5.
Yeah.
Not too sure. This is February 2018. And so in between after 2 maps, we come back on the analyst desk. And then if it goes to 4, we come back on the analyst desk again. So, I do the stage presentation of the final, and EG are 2 up, and then we do the analyst desk, and we're like, what are we witnessing? This is phenomenal. And Penta have left the room, and EG are being cheered on by everybody in here, with a few very loud, very important exceptions, and that just storyline of that. And I said many times we would never have dared write that. We'd never have dared have a team go 2-0 up, and then the other team come back, and then that team actually win it in a clutch 1v2. Crazy final. So to be in the thick of that and see it all happening was phenomenal. And that still hasn't been beaten as a match to witness for me. Different reasons, though. The thing that I feel like I'm here to do as a host is to connect the people who are watching with the people who are doing this. As casters, we talk about the game and exactly what's happening right now. And as analysts, you break down what we've just seen, what they should have done, what we haven't done. But this is all very technical and about that game. And what I feel like I need to do is the gap that hasn't been covered is the people. Like, these are teams and these are big names, but they are people as well, and you care about them if you're fans. So what I try and do is connect you to them, and that's why you always see me at these events moving around and chatting to people and being very much on my vlogs about the players and the audience and giving you a chance to see these events if you can't be there. And in Rio de Janeiro, we were surrounded by a sea of about 8,000 Brazilians going absolutely nuts, mainly because the Brazilian casters were next to the English analyst desk.
Oh boy.
We're on a raised platform. We have a fence around us. Whenever we're not on camera, we're signing stuff. It's beautiful. It's something I'll always be so grateful for, that people want to say hi, and that's very important to me. But I have never been live on an analyst desk talking to a camera about, a meter and a half off the ground on a platform, and somebody at ground level is reaching up and tugging on my ankle of my trousers to try and get my attention because he wants... Not realizing that I'm live on camera because the English broadcast isn't being heard in the venue. So I'm looking over here talking to this thing while somebody is,
oh no,
that's never happened before. And those kind of things stick with you for different reasons. Yeah, it's been very special everywhere I've gone, and I am so excited to be coming and joining you.
Yeah, well, you've gotten to the point where you've done so many different events that you have this immense diversity between them. Like you've said, you've been to events with 8,000 people in an arena speaking a language that you don't have in your vocabulary. Yeah. And you've been to places where you do speak the language as well, and places with tiny amounts of people when the scene was so small. And now, lucky for us, you're coming down under, and you're going to be witnessing the Six Masters and being an integral part of the Six Masters and presenting that to the Australian fans as well as the global audience who'll be watching on all of the Rainbow Six streams. So, as you can see on the screen, to all of our viewers who are watching, we have the broadcast talent announcement, and I think a lot of people were surprised to see your name up there, Matt. And I think really pleasantly surprised. What was the reaction from your perspective when this talent announcement went out?
It was early in the morning, I think. Not super early. It was something like 8 or 9 o'clock. So my phone starts blowing up. Oh, it's out. Okay, cool. It's it's so nice that people think like you want to do this now, and that people think it's a big deal that I'm coming. And yes, I'm coming a very long way, and yes, I'm super excited about it. But the fact that you guys want me to come and do it is something I'm really touched by, truthfully. The fact that it's important that I'm there and it gives you some sort of credibility, that's like, that means a lot to me. And it might sound a bit surprising that I'm kind of being, oh, thank you, but it this is all of this means the world to me. So yeah, and I didn't get to do the Rally Major, as you know, and so to then have a chance to come and do a Siege event not long afterwards, that's cool too, and I'm really glad. And I was chatting with Shane from UB Australia back in May 2018 about doing something with you guys. We met at the Atlantic City finals, and I said then I'd love to come and do something. And we weren't talking about the Six Masters then, but we've been talking about me maybe doing something in Australia since then. So for it to happen is so cool, and I do get to travel a lot through this job, and I'm very grateful for that. Honestly, Australia has been a place that I've always wanted to visit. Never really thought I'd get to. It's a very, very long way for something like a holiday from the UK. So to come and see you guys, we have this awesome love-hate relationship between England and Australia. And, I grew up with neighbours on, and somehow I've got to figure out how to work with you all because you're all upside down and stuff like this. It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Matt, that we're going to get some of that banter back and forth. The Aussie crowd loves it, so I have no doubt that we're going to play into that. So, like you said, never been to Australia before, but you have travelled a lot. So I'm interested, you said it's a long way to go just for a holiday. Well, you're coming for Six Masters. Are you going to make a bit of a holiday out of it as well?
Yeah. It would be rude not to, wouldn't it? I have the opportunity. So I am flying in 6 hours or so. And I'm going to fly into Sydney, and I'm not going to get there until Wednesday morning, your time. So I leave here at 6:40 p.m. in the evening, and I land at 6:15 a.m. on Wednesday, a day and a bit later. And I've got to fly via Zurich and Hong Kong. That's how it's done. Ooh. And so I'm going to Sydney, and I'm going to have a day and a half in Sydney, and then I have to come to Melbourne Thursday evening.
Excuse me,
you wonderful people, and that's it.
It's Melbourne.
Yep, sorry.
Melbourne. I told you. I got to teach you how to say Melbourne. Damn it! He's already doing it.
No, it's almost like it's intentional, James. So yeah, Melbourne is where I'll be coming Thursday.
I knew you'd do it. I knew you had to do it. I didn't think it would be this early.
Flown in from Sydney, yes. So it'll all be.
All right, yeah. Cheers for that. I really appreciate it. So I want to know what is on your to-do list while you're in, because obviously you get to see the two biggest cities in Australia. What's on the to-do list?
Yes, and I have so little time to do anything justice to either of them. I'm going to go and see a bridge, which is quite famous, and I'm going to go and see an opera house, which I've heard of. And I'm thinking of actually doing the walk over the bridge, because you can do that, and it would seem a shame not to. And if possible, I might live stream it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that from a bridge over a sea. At Melbourne, though, when I get to you guys, it's going to be about 9 p.m. on Thursday night. So the first thing I intend to do is give you a hug, and then have some drinks, probably, and after that, work really hard. That's probably it, isn't it, James?
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be a busy
That
weekend.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
It is going to be a busy weekend. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the Six Masters. So the Six Masters, for those who don't know, is the Australian and New Zealand national tournament. So we have all over the world these different national tournaments for Rainbow Six that go alongside the Pro League. America has the US Nationals, Canada has the Canadian Nationals, there's UK Premiership, which you've worked on before, Matt. And of course, here locally we have the Six Masters, and that's going to be at the Melbourne Esports Open, which is a huge esports festival that's being held in Melbourne, that's supported by the Victorian, the state government as well, which is super exciting.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really rare as well, to have those kind of, investments from, governments, cities, councils, whatever. Like, that's quite unusual. So this is obviously a really important thing to Melbourne.
Yeah, and I'm excited as well because I've been to quite a few events now, but this is the first one where I've worked Rainbow Six in my home city, which I'm very excited about. So there are 12 teams in the Six Masters. That gets narrowed down to 8 at the actual tournament itself. And I think that we've talked about a little bit about coming to Australia for you, but what is it like to work on? I guess this is a different kind of tournament. These teams are going to be teams that you haven't seen much before. So Matt, from your perspective, what's it like coming into a scene that you're maybe less familiar with, something that's a bit different, and working an event with like that? Yeah,
it's not easy. I know some of your teams, but I don't know all of your teams. I follow as much Siege, but you got to understand, when there's so much going on around the world, you can't every game of the BR6, UK Prem that you mentioned, other things that are happening wherever they are in different time zones as well. And obviously, they're hard to watch. So yeah, it's tricky. You do a lot of prep. You have to figure out who everybody is, who everybody was as well, if they moved around. And this applies to coming to do a national tournament like this, or going and working on a completely different game. So a chance here to shout out to everybody who ever helps with any of this kind of record keeping on Liquipedia and stuff like that, and other places where you can get it, because that the guys and the volunteers who make those kind of things happen, maybe you don't realize how helpful you are to many of us who you do see presenting these things, and I think everybody would agree with that. So yeah, prep on history between teams, match history between teams, and it's difficult when it's a kind of a tournament. If it's a different thing, if it's a tournament which isn't at the end of a season, for example, then that's a bit different. It's like, oh, okay, do we have match history that's relevant? What is relevant? Did these guys play each other before, but were they completely different lineups? If they were, then is that actually a statistic that's useful? There's all those kind of extra layers of information that you have to go through. It's difficult. I don't have the best of memories either, truthfully. So actually, retaining this stuff is something I have to work quite hard on. But I'm going to be working with 3 wonderful analysts and casters who will have my back, I'm sure.
So
yes, they will.
We'll try, all right, Matt. No promises. So talking about the events so far, Sky and Cthulhu, you've been really, really involved in that. Sky, I believe you actually observed every single match. And so for those who don't know, observing is controlling the in-game camera. Everything you see on the screen, that is what the observer is delivering to you. They are controlling which players we're spectating at which times. So Sky, I believe you observed every single match. Is that right?
Of Six Masters.
That's right, yeah.
Yep, that's correct.
And Cthulhu was casting for a lot of them as well. So I kind of want to know, we've got the bracket on the screen. What about coming into this event from your perspectives, guys, where you've been so involved through and through the entire tournament? I want to know, what are the big storylines that are coming into this? What are the expectations for the event, and maybe even a stab at the predictions? So tell me.
Well, so far for me personally, one of the biggest storylines will be probably Orgless versus Fnatic. The rivalry throughout the whole time, essentially, of them competing has been on and off. And regionally wise, Orgless so far are the standing champions. They won the 6 Oceanic Cup, and they're going into the Six Masters kind of like being, hey, we want to get this one as well. But on the other side, Fnatic were the ones who won the last year's Six Masters. So for both of them are very competitive at it, and both of them would want that first place. On the side of Underdog Story, well, Acme and Rhythm has been at it for pretty much a fair long while, and honestly, all of those matches I feel are going to be just down to the wire, really.
I guess I'll keep mine sort of brief, and I think what's really cool for me is that this sort of bracket was released about a month ago. So you really have to look, and within that time, there hasn't been a whole heap of competitions for these teams, I guess with the exception of Fnatic, who has competed at Raleigh. So to have that amount of time to prepare, and for a lot of these teams, they're really spending that month preparing for this one matchup, this big matchup. I feel like it's really going to up the quality of these games, and it's going to be insane to see what these teams throw at each other.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, it like you said, Cthulhu. It's been we have long-standing teams who've been around for a long time. We have the new kids on the block, and Sky, of course. You mentioned these teams have had a long time to prepare against each other as well. So coming into this event, if you want to actually attend the event, if you're located in or near Melbourne, you can actually purchase a ticket. You can go for the 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. You can head just for one day. I'll let you in on something. My parents are actually going to be coming to the event for the first time. They'll be seeing. It'll be their first esports event, which I'm really excited about. It's going to be a bit strange.
I'll tell them lovely things about you.
Oh, I bet you will. What happens in Milan stays in Milan, Matt. All right. we have to set the barriers. All right. And so you can come to the event if you'd like. I know that there are a lot of people coming. Some people coming into state to attend the event. It will be in a tennis arena in Margaret Court Arena. And there's actually quite a lot going on at it's a big festival. You can play a lot of games at the event as well. There'll be a Ubisoft booth with a lot of the Ubisoft team down from Sydney running that as well. So go and say hi. That's one thing I would absolutely recommend to anyone attending these events. It's kind of like what you were saying, Matt. It's all about talking to the people. And that's something that it's a huge thing of these events. If you're a fan, go up. If you see a player from Fnatic, from Auglis, from Acme, go up and say hi. Say, hi, I'm such and such from online. You might remember me because I tweeted at you that one time. People love that. I mean, it is an amazing feeling to start having those genuine interactions with people. So I can't recommend that enough at events.
Yeah, honestly, don't miss that. Like, if that's an important thing that you want to do, then do it. Because I have met people at events who have said, "Oh, I saw you last time and I didn't come and say hi." So it's like, just do that, please. I've had messages from people already on Twitter going, "Oh, is it okay if I come and meet you?" and so on. I don't think there's anything like an official meet and greet. Just come and say hi. I love it. It means the world. It is so nice that anybody wants to say hi, get a picture, sign something. It will never grow old. It is just a really nice personal thing, and I guarantee you, it goes for everybody else who's there, whether it's players who've got their first time on a stage like this, or the guys like Fnatic who've been on World Championship stages. Like, everybody is so nice and approachable. So do that. Don't go home thinking, "Oh, I wish I'd said hi to the guy I walked by." Just do it. Just do it.
So Matt, I know that we've actually gone over time since over the time that I told you would be here. So
that's right. It's mostly my fault for talking too much. I'm
you are welcome.
Mediocre interviewer.
You're welcome to talk as long as you like, Matt. How much time you got? Because if you want to head off, that's completely fine. Do you want to give me a time frame here?
What do you want to ask, James?
Oh, well, we can talk about anything, Matt. The world is our oyster.
The Six Masters. You've asked the guys for their predictions from the Six Masters. Here's what you need to do, Australia. You need to turn up. You need to show everybody that having events in Australia is, going to be an amazing, exciting thing to do, because that does your esports scene great, not just for Siege, but for other games as well. And that's why, the Melbourne Esports Open is as big as it is. Probably said that wrong again, and half James. Turn up, come and sit, come and enjoy the thing, and show other people that, oh, look, we should do events there. 'Cause that's what happened in Milan. There was a little event for Siege back at, Milan Games? No, it wasn't Milan Games Week. Doesn't matter. A small event for a small in comparison event for Siege happened in Italy, and then the Pro League finals happened in Milan. And I'm not saying that one directly led to the other. For all I know, Milan was always coming. I don't know how long that was planned in advance. But the point is, events show that more events should come.
Yeah.
So turn up and make a big deal here. Give it everything you've got. You know what I'm like. I'm going to do my best to make that crowd roar. So come and give it back. What you need from your teams, and this is the one where you're going to bite, you need to show the rest of the world that you haven't just got Fnatic. Because from a global perspective, you have your own land and you have your own region. talked up for APAC. Ever since it started, I was defending that it should be there. When it got 2 spots out of, the 8 attendees at finals, people were like, oh, should it have 2? You take one from another region to give it to APAC. I always spoke up, and I still do. And I love that we have, all these regions covered the way we do in Siege. I think we've got it right. And I love the Fnatic guys. Magnet has already said he's going to fight a kangaroo for me. So what's not to love? And he actually did. But as much as I'm happy seeing them every event I see them, the rest of the world wants to know that there's another team or two that can get there from your region. Saying I don't want to win this, but I'm saying I want to see really great competition from all these other teams. I know there's a lot of support for Acme in the chat. We've heard of August, we've heard of Mindfreak. Acme, are you going to make it? Let's find out.
Yeah, well, I guess that highlights back what Cthulhu was saying earlier. August is the defending champion of the National Australia-New Zealand tournament. They defeated Fnatic 2-0 last time they played against each other in a grand final. But that was a bit of a different case. That was Six Oceanic Cup earlier this year. We were in a 250-seat ESL studio in Sydney, and now we're in a 2,000-plus seat arena. And what I want to see, like you were saying, Matt, I want to see that arena flooded. Last year at Six Masters in PAX, we had about 150-odd seats, and we stacked out all those seats, and they were Sherping people out of the walkways because we had clogged up the walkways with people standing to watch the Six Masters.
I love it.
2018. Yeah. And I want to see the same thing again. I want to see 2,000 packed seats in this stadium, and I want to see all that support for Rainbow Six and for all these teams that are there as well.
Well, what a big statement it would be, right? I may have the numbers slightly wrong, so don't hold me exactly to this, but I believe Milan, the Pro League finals in May, I think it was 2,000.
Yeah, we have slightly more than Milan, I believe. Yeah.
So think about that. The Milan Pro League finals, your Six Masters could be as loud, as packed as a Pro League finals. Think what a massive statement that would make to the rest of the world about the APAC fans and the APAC region. And yes, I appreciate this. Not the whole of APAC being represented here at Six Masters to Australia. Let's get this done. Come and turn up. Let's fill this thing out, and let's show everybody about your amazing esports scene. Because I've met casters and players from other games from your country. On different events I've done outside of Siege, and everybody's really nice. Everybody here in England, we love you, Aussies. I can't wait to come down and join you all and find out what it's really like being upside down. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, I hope you got your magnetic boots working so that you can stick to the ground.
Do you think of us as being upside down?
No, we just actually understand how science works, Matt.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I mean, Australia and sporting fanatics, that is just something that those two things go hand in hand. Melbourne is a huge sporting capital in Australia, and we know what the Australian fans can produce in terms of an atmosphere, in terms of their chants, especially the creativity of their chants. And I'm desperate to see that at Melbourne Esports Open. I'm really hoping that we see that. So for those who don't know, you can watch the Six Masters online if you can't make it to Melbourne for the event. It'll be streamed across a whole host of channels, so long that I can't read. There's no point reading off the list, but suffice to say, twitch.tv/Rainbow6, R6 Esports on YouTube. All of the current channels that we're streaming on the Rainbow Six ANZ Twitch and YouTube. You go to any of those, you can't possibly miss it. It's going to be on this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're playing one of the quarterfinals on Friday around 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's GMT +8 for those who are trying to convert it over to their time zone. Sorry, +9. +9.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Woof, my bad. It used to be +8, but when daylight savings and all that, and then we're starting on Saturday and Sunday as well for the full matches. So Sunday is going to be a huge day with the grand final and the 2 semis as well. So it's going to be an absolute banger of an event, and I'm very glad that we have you on board for it, Matt. And I really can't say anything more than I'm looking forward to seeing you in Melbourne and showing you how to drink a real Melburnian coffee.
Well, I'm an Englishman who only drinks tea, so that's not going to work.
I'm good with tea. Have you had chai before? You know, chai tea? Chai lattes?
Yes, we know what chai tea is. We have those things.
Yeah, here. But you haven't had a Melbourne chai tea, so...
No, I haven't had a chai tea of any kind, James.
Oh, really?
I'm an old-fashioned tea drinker. Milk and 2 sugars and lots of normal tea. Thank you very much. 3 or 4 sugars on event days. That's how it's done.
I'm sure we can arrange that.
I can't wait to come. I need to fly soon. But yeah, thank you to everybody who wants to have me down there and everybody wants to say hi. So I'm really truly excited to come and see the other side of the world. And Aussie fans, turn up, make some noise, bring some banners, do all of that kind of stuff. You guys are incredible sports fans everywhere. I can't wait to see what you do live.
Well, Matt, I think that's all we've got time for, all you've probably got time for. So I think it's time for us to say thank you very much for watching. For coming here, getting up in the morning, and on your birthday, and making time for us, making time for the Aussie fans.
Quick plug, because Ubisoft have specifically asked me to do loads of vlogging, which I always do at these kind of events for people who can't be there. So come to Melbourne, but if you can't come to Melbourne because you're in London or something, my channel is youtube.com/MattAndrewsTV, and I'm going to be vlogging the whole thing, the journey, and all the stuff, some Sydney stuff, and Melbourne Esports Open there as well. And there'll be some live streams coming to my new Twitch, which is ESL_MattAndrewsTV. It was ESL_Matt. If you're already following me on there, it's the same thing, but it's now ESL_MattAndrewsTV. Follow me on Twitch. We'll do some live stuff too.
And be sure to also follow Matt on @MattAndrewsTV on Twitter as well. You're quite active on your
Instagram,
Twitter.
everything.
There you go, Matt Andrews TV. I love that consistency in your branding. Respect that. All right, I think that's all we've got time for tonight, though. So, Matt, I just want to say thank you so much for coming along. And is there anything you'd like to say while you do have all the you're going to have the Australian fans right there under the mic for you all weekend, but this is your first taste. So, what are you going to say?
I get nervous at these kind of moments.
Sure, you do.
Never.
Never.
No, I've said it all. I've said it all. Come and have fun with us because I intend to have.
All right, well, I think that's it's time. We're going to actually do some more podcasts. We've got a little bit more to talk about, but that's all from Matt. So I hope everyone in chat wishes Matt a safe flight. Obviously, you have quite a long flight ahead of you, 2 connections as well. So thank you very much for being on tonight, Matt. It was an absolute pleasure.
No, it's really fun to see you, and I can't wait to join you all, Sky Cthulhu. I hope to get to see you somewhere. And let's go and have some fun. Melbourne, really. Right, cheers, James. Thank you, everybody. Thanks everyone for joining me.
Thank you very much, Matt. Have a safe flight.
Will do.
Attitudes and mindset. I think that's a really difficult part of managing any team in general, but especially esports teams. Other than that, obviously fighting the big titans in the scene like Fnatic and Auglis is quite a challenge in itself. So it's a lot of hard work and a lot of time to put in. Just been reworking a lot of strats and really just working on our game, making sure that we feel really confident and comfortable going into it. Also with Fnatic playing at the Raleigh Major, it means that we've got a lot of footage on them and a lot of things that we can use to help counter strat, that kind of thing. So we're going to be spending a lot of time just studying them and figuring out how we can adapt our play to beat them. Well, it's the first LAN that the team will actually be competing in as this team. So that's a big experience in itself. It'll really help them get a good picture about how LANs are, what they need to prepare for next time we make a LAN, that kind of thing. So that's probably the biggest key learning that we're going to get from MEO. Also having a big match against Fnatic is just going to be a really good learning curve for the team to be able to do that on LAN. I don't see Nook being chosen a whole lot. I think her ability is kind of not even situational. It's kind of like Caveira, where you might try and do a little bit of a plan around it, but at the end of the day, it's kind of just sneak in and try and get a couple of kills, and that's it. Warden, on the other hand, I could see him being used in 6-pick situations a lot. So maybe you might see the other team pick a Glaz and a Ying. You might decide to 6-pick to a Warden to try and counter that. Outside of that, though, I don't think he'll be picked a whole lot. Definitely just kind of really specific situations. I guess just trying to include it how we can in the lineup and just see whether it actually works or not. See what organically happens and what we try to force happen. So for example, if you have a Warden, are you organically using his glasses to try and counter stun grenades and smoke grenades, or are you like forcing yourself?
Hello everybody and welcome back. of course, just showed a piece of content which was courtesy from Respawn Ninja. So the Respawn Ninja did a bit of content with Raven Brandon from Oddity Esports, talking about Melbourne Esports Open and all the stuff that he's been doing recently. But we're just going to wrap this episode up. Obviously, huge shout out to Matt. I hope you guys give Matt a lot of love in the chat. I think he's still hanging around. And of course, on Twitter, like he said, he loves to meet new people. So if you want to meet him at Melbourne Esports Open, send a message on Twitter or just rock up and look for him. If you can't see him on... if you can't make it to Melbourne, but you want to see him anyway, send him a message and just tell him how much it means to you that he's doing an ANZ event. I'm sure he'd appreciate.
Or watch his
all the love.
vlogs.
Yeah, watch his vlogs. Matt Andrews TV on all socials, especially YouTube, because you get some behind-the-scenes stuff with that. But let's talk about something else that's been going on. So we talked all about the Six Masters 2019. We haven't talked about the Six Masters 2020, which was announced today. Six Masters 2020 is going to be the next installment in Ubisoft Australia's Rainbow Six esports program at a national level. And the 8 teams who will be heading to Melbourne Esports Open to play in the Six Masters next weekend, they have already qualified for the online portion of the Six Masters 2020. So for those who don't know, those teams are Acme Association, Fnatic, Theory Australia, Mindfreak, Oddity, Auglis, Rhythm, and Team Sinister. So it's very exciting for all those teams. Not only do they get to play in this fantastic LAN event for a cut of $50,000, but they'll also get to play in next year's Six Masters, which is said to start early 2020. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty exciting for people who are fans of Rainbow Six. I'm sure everyone here is going to be interested in tuning in next year. So it shows that kind of long-term support as well. We're very happy to be able to announce this. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if it's anywhere as good as what it's been so far, I'm really excited for it, especially the online portion. I think that you guys did a really good job on the online portion, delivering those broadcasts as well.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how far will Six Masters take us, and certainly with the fact how so far it's unveiling to see the Six Masters finals at MEO. Boy, I'm excited for the next year, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an absolute blast doing the online phase, and I'm really excited for MEO. So yeah, I mean, it's just so exciting to see where this can all sort of escalate.
Agreed. So I guess we've actually kind of already done our community portion. You guys have done your host picks, but I haven't done my top pick yet. So I'm going to chuck that in now. And I just want to give a bit of a short shout out to Palsy Poo, who has been in chat since the very start, spamming those Acme logos, because completely coincidentally, my top pick this week is from Palsy Poo's Twitter. It is an Acme fan hat, which has been created. And I'm incredibly impressed by this. I don't know what can I call it? This broad-brimmed beauty that we witness. And all I can say is I really hope to see this at the event, and I hope that we get a lot of the camera panning during the event onto this hat, because it shows the dedication of some of the fans in the community.
It's pretty awesome to see, and like Matt mentioned earlier, hopefully we can see this sort of these banners, hats, the full shabam with what all the fans are bringing to.
So before we close up, I just want to give a shout out to Ubisoft Experience. That's not the right one. Ubisoft Experience. For those who don't know, we talked a little bit about at the start of the episode. Ubisoft Experience is a Ubisoft convention kind of thing that is happening in several places around the world this year. Ubisoft Experience in Birmingham, UK happened last weekend, and Ubisoft Experience Sydney is happening on the 14th and 15th of September in Sydney at the Roundhouse, which is a fantastic event. The schedule is shaping up to be action-packed, full of hands-on panels, theater demos. There's going to be a lot of activities, including a Rainbow Six Siege Sledgehammer Challenge and a full esports tournament featuring 4 of our Pro League teams, plus an opportunity to play with the pros and influencers yourself if you are at the event. So I highly recommend, if you're Sydney-based or if you can make it to Sydney for the event on September 14th and 15th, I highly recommend that you go and purchase a ticket, because all of that ticket revenue is going directly to charity which is Are You Okay? So I am very excited for this event, and I think it's for a fantastic cause as well. If you want to go and get tickets for this one, there are all kinds of places where you can do that. I recommend going to the Ubisoft website, looking up Ubisoft Experience Sydney, and you can click the links through to the Ticket Tech link. But that's all from us for tonight. It's been a fantastic episode, and I want to give another shout out, say thank you to Matt for coming along tonight. It was really quite something to have him, wasn't it, guys?
Oh yeah, it was absolutely fantastic to get some of his insight, and I mean, I'm just excited to see him on the Australian event. Really.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome talking to Matt, and can't wait to see him smash it at Ember.
I think that says it all, guys. If you want to come in and watch the Six Masters, where Matt Andrews will be hosting the event, I highly recommend that you go to twitch.tv/Rainbow6 this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It kicks off 5 p.m. Friday night at 5 p.m. AEST. That's Melbourne time and Sydney time. So I recommend you tune into that. Of course, it's also on Saturday and Sunday. Finals will be played on Sunday. But after that, we're also going to do a wrap-up of the entire event next Monday, same time, same place, on Talking Siege at 8 p.m. AEST, right here on this channel. We're here every single Monday, so I highly recommend you just jump in, see what the latest Rainbow Six news is, get to see some community stuff, and hear us talk about esports as well. So thank you if you've joined us tonight, and of course, if you missed the episode, you can go find us on YouTube, Rainbow Six ANZ. You can also find us on various podcasting platforms. Just type in Talking Siege, and you'll find us. But that's all from us for tonight, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you this weekend for Six Masters.